and at 30 frames per second, which is just a much more reasonable load. Although I think I could probably do 60 with this hardware. Cool though. So, been a minute since I've been online. I've been busy. I tell you what, the things you can get mailed to you these days, it's just incredible. So I went on a few journeys. Spent some time at the lake. On the road a lot. When I'm back, I do get a little bit of cleaning done as I continue to morph this kitchen into a kitchen that I would even want to show people. It's a mess. I know that. I rent, and because I rent, I've only got so much real motivation to repair the building. I mean, worst case, repairing it could even translate to me getting an increase in my rent, which my landlord assures me I will never get. But I'm a grown man, and I understand that the world changes, people make promises. Promises can't always be kept, and that's the real definition of the era we're in and the crises that we face collectively. It is because a lot of promises have been made that there's just no physical way they can all be kept. It's not the first time the world's been here. A lot of people estimate the future. They try to plan ahead. And in order to do so, they simplify everything to dollar bills. It is a very basic perspective. And the strange thing is, people talk to me like I don't already have it. Like, you gotta understand, I gotta bring my chat up. But everybody's got to understand that we definitely are in a mathematical, something went wrong, try reloading the page. Cool. Okay. So, understanding that, oh, hey, Gnarly. I just saw you. This is the first thing I'm seeing from you. You might have been chatting at me for a couple minutes. What do people talk about which they don't already think you have? I will, no, don't worry about it. Let me, if there are other messages, which you just confirmed, I will just go to the website. Sorry about this lame start that I got going. Hey, promises can't always be kept. From to others, from to ourselves, like truth, I guess. Yep, there you go. What do people talk about? Which I'm thinking that's with you, that they don't already think you have. Trying to sort that. But yeah, the point is we can only talk in terms of already quantified ideas. So as we try to transmit, so I've developed protocols, like a good way to, I think, engineer the question of communicating about truth and promises. And the thing is, promises, like, once we get outside of the childlike enthusiasm that promises are always going to be kept, right? We can go to an engineered process. Oh, it is That it is the idea that there is a perspective of life which involves looking into the future, breaking down the future. If you talk to the average 60-year-old right now, they're going to tell you, I need $40,000 a year moving forward. And that is a set dollar number. And if they get that, then they're set. And if they don't have that, then they're panicking right now. But it's all a projection of the future based on a logical calculation. That's just a matter of, I want to have $40,000 a year and I don't want to be homeless, so they project into the future using dollars. And the point is, the future is not just dependent on dollars. The present is not just dependent on dollars. In fact, dollars can evaporate. And we may see that very soon. The crypto exchanges right now are just getting smashed. I don't know if you saw that, but the SEC is going after Coinbase and Binance. So they're about to shut down crypto, but there's like a staged deflation happening in the economy, and the implications of that on the average person's idea of the future. The guy who's got a 401k who thinks that they've saved a few $1,000,000 and they're going to be okay. Yeah, no, and crypto's a waste of time. It's an absolute waste of time. Did nothing for anybody. It just empowered a lot of scam artists and God, an absolute fervor of waste. It's incredible that we respect anybody who ever supported crypto. It was a scam. I could tell it was a scam. It was 20 years old. I fucking hate it. Yeah, project like not only like any Ponzi scheme. Fuck Ponzi schemes. Like let's attack the people who perpetrate Ponzi schemes. Let's not try to figure out how to make money off the Ponzi scheme. Because even if you do make money off the Ponzi scheme, you're not taking it from the guy who's executing the Ponzi. You're taking it from the suckers who bought into it, who partially bought into it because you bought into it. So the only appropriate response to a Ponzi entity is to go for the neck. And it's just dishonest business. And which every crypto is just dishonest business. There's zero proposal for value. It's just it's an incredibly complex permutation of banking. Whereas personally, I don't think banking has fucking value. Like banks are parasites. Anybody who knows anything about systems and capital will tell you that a bank is a fucking parasite. They do nothing for society. It's a projection that they help by creating liquidity. It's just a delusional way to explain being kept on someone else's boat, where they're the house and they just get to profit while you do all the work. But we're at a moment now where it's like 50% of people don't even go to work anyway. So where's the social dialogue even going to end up at the end of the day? Point is, if you look at the world based on dollars, which we talk to the senior generation, as I said, they're going to look very simply algebra. They're going to use fucking algebra to look into the future. They're going to say, I need $40,000 a year. I expect to live 30 years. 30 times 40, I need 1.2 million. And they're not going to have that panic. So the thing is, kids, young people have the same sort of projection of a culture. They act like that's a culture, like it's a sufficient worldview. It's an insufficient worldview. It's fucking irrelevant. It's remedial. It's basic. In the future, the currency basis of the entire perspective, the dollar itself, can change that fast. And it will change in the next decade or so. Sometime it's going to fucking change. I don't know how it's going to change. The point is, it's at a point where it's completely fucking untenable. And what does it matter? I mean, we're literally just withholding materials from people. Right now, the stress that anybody finds themselves in is literally something that the motherfuckers on top, and they're motherfuckers because they're on top. They might have a really angelic self-image. They might have helped out a few million people. It doesn't matter. If you're on top, you are a motherfucker. Because there's no reason kids are not fed. There's no reason we have young people getting poor educations. There's no reason we're hamstringing public education. Like, it all boils down to, and the problem is, these perspectives where people feel justified in taking these fundamentally evil actions, like what's been done in public education, I mean, it's fundamentally evil. The right wing has a horrific karmic responsibility for how much money they took out of downtown schools. Every one of them. Like the depth of failure is astronomical. Generations of slavery is like the only way to pay back the damage already done. Because if you got like 1% and you're such a fucking parasite that you steal 20% from 90%, translates to decades, centuries of paying it back. If you want to use math to try to quantify justice, it's not just as simple as dollars. Effect on developing organisms matters, and we can measure it now. People's lack of shelter matters. People's lack of nutrition. You can be mad at a kid who doesn't do well at school when we intentionally feed them this shit, when we lie to them about food and what's important about it, when we put them in these brutal, like draconian education structures designed to create employees in an era where employment is literally disappearing. So there's the future and how we understand the future. It's got to change. And that's what I'm going to start off this stream with, was my intention, is this DIY ethic. And what is a DIY ethic? Do it yourself. You do it yourself because you got to understand it. You may not be an absolute, world-class talent at what you do. But if it matters to your life, be able to fucking do it. Be able to cook. Be able to clean. Be able to build. We're empowered now with the internet, which gives us a tremendous potential. And people are not taking advantage of it. Which, how do we build a society where people effectively take advantage of the potential in their life? Because if all this technology was here long time ago, I promise you, the people that you want to respect, the people that everybody wants to pretend like would talk to them, like give a shit about them, like they wouldn't think that people are kind of disgusting in their character. Why do we think that these legends of interpersonal, who were so far ahead of the curve, why do we love to make this assumption like they'd want to talk to us? Like, what do we have to relate? What have we done in our life that is commensurate? Like, do you want to actually meet someone great before you've done something great? I don't think that's what people usually think it is. Fandom is just weird. We take these wannabes and make them dance around on stage, and that's not being a clown. You got to dance on the fucking stage. You got to keep the audience happy. You're a fucking clown. If you're a speaker, you impact the audience. And if you enrage the audience, well, you might be in trouble. Point is, entertaining being a clown. And be a clown. God bless the fucking clowns. But let's leave clowns in the clown space. Yeah, no, humor's important. Absolutely. But they're, at the same token, we absolutely must have an understanding for what is not clown. We can't be letting clowns be the president. We can't be letting clowns be CEOs. We can't be mistaking a clown like Musk as a competent adult. So yeah, we're surrounded by clowns. And that's the biblical description of the apocalypse, right? Surrounded by false prophets. That if you don't understand your own perspective, they will lead you to hell. Because they'll tell you something, it'll sound close enough to the truth. You'll believe it. It'll be not the truth. But AI is coming to give us all a lot more truth than we even want. So, not much light here. Let me give you some light. So, part of this DIY thing, let me get up there and check your message. Oh, crack, pop. Adjustments. Adjust your own body to get in control of your wellness. Which, very easy things. How often are our hands over our shoulders? Think about it. How many days have you gone where you never do this? Why do you never do this? Every day, several times, I want to get up and use gravity to drain fluids from my extremities. Seems weird, right? No, do it. Do it and this will get your wellness kicking. This is a pull-up bar, and if you want to get your shoulders square, you want to do the wide side. My feet are still on the ground. And all I've got to do is lean forward. And I'm getting a deep stretch in my armpits, across my back, every day. You should be doing this. Put something like this in front of a TV. Put it in front of whatever it is that you do, something that you sit in front of. Okay, movies, whatever it is, get rid of a couch. Just as people would sit in a couch, you can be for a minute doing this. And if I do this all day, I'm going to hurt myself. But if I just do it for 5 minutes, leaning forward, putting a pressure in my armpits that we never get. Western furniture doesn't give us this. And all we'd have to do to change this is put a big giant moat around our house and make people use monkey bars to get inside. The point is, we need this stuff in our architecture. We should have, every doorway should have a fucking pull-up bar in it. Every fucking doorway, in my opinion. So, just leaning forward. I've gotten a deep stretch. I'm in a very different shoulder space than I was when I started. It's a big thing of exercise. And when I was younger in my 20s, I never slowed down to pay attention. But as you get older, you start to you pay more attention, especially once you get hurt. You start to learn the basics of your body, which your wellness, you can go to a doctor, and we got to get the universal health care done. In the meantime, everybody's health has always been predominantly maintained by themselves. You can't go somewhere for an hour a week or 10 hours a week and have that translate to wellness. Wellness is a hourly routine. There are times where I will have a self-awareness to where I understand that my body is in a state where I want to get it out of that state. As quick as I can. Sometimes it's just hold this up for a minute. And if you keep doing this, your body will start to develop strength until you can do pull-ups. I gotta take care of my elbow. I'm not gonna mess with it. Nice thing about this pull-up bar, it gives me different positions. I'm not gonna play with my arm. I should be wrapping it right now even. Anyways, in wellness, you know, hands up, allow the drainage, and twisting. Yeah, rock on, gnarly. Good to thank you for setting up the lurk, stopping by. I appreciate you. Speaking of, I was gonna alert somebody. But yeah, match this stuff with me, right? You can do it too. And that's the good culture. We need to develop a culture where we have, you know, what we do together. You know, when we're together, why aren't we including more? Okay, somebody stop and do an exercise. we got fucking watches that will ping us. God, that's fucking annoying, isn't it? Like every hour, just get up and walk around for 10 minutes. If you get self-awareness of your body, you will actually just be aware that you need to get up and move. It doesn't have to be every hour. It's not a time thing. It depends on what you've done. Because if what you've done is already pretty active, then you don't need to take time apart to get the pump going again. That's what I call it. That's what my friend Earl related to me too. And you know, all that's really important in overall wellness is make sure you get quote unquote the pump every day. Pump is, you know, getting the blood flowing through your muscles, which you can do isometrically, where you don't move anywhere. Isotonically, there's different exercise methods. Oh wait, let's get this out. And let me come in here. Wow. April 27th, 2023. Well, that was nice. That's not this current stream. I think I might need to update the Twitch app. What? God, I hate apples. These things really have a disgustingly bad interface. Ew. How's it going? Thank you for your patience. Bluetooth driving me nuts. Jump my conversation over on me. Anyways, and that conversation actually included some discussion on how is this technology, like right now I'm trying to organically feel out, because I set this up this is set up in my kitchen, running over my Wi-Fi, but it's my laptop with that new Anker cam that I picked up. Very nice camera, by the way. I love the Anker cam, especially with the built-in privacy shutter, where you can clearly see that it's not recording. Very nice image, very great cost point. Like it a lot. Point is, I can put this up in the middle of the elk lodge, and then have people come in. They don't need to jump on camera, but you could be streaming. How could reverse this equation, right? You could be the streamer, and I can put this gear. We can work together. I can put this gear in a local site, and you then are connected to that local site. Getting the magic in that local site is actually, I think, the hard part. Question is, what do you want to do? We got streamers spending hundreds of hours a fucking month making a few $100s. Okay, this is you've got to put every effort on a realistic, we're talking about how remedial and basic just looking at things in dollars is. You have to have that perspective. You can't blindly move past it. The problem, as I was saying, is young people are kind of washed out because 1.2 million is a fucking daydream when you're making minimum wage, when there's no fucking white collar jobs left. It's a fucking daydream. So you just get berated by adults who act like you could have done something different to make it, when the vast majority of them did not. Vast, overwhelming majority did not. Their philosophy makes no sense. Their perspective makes no fucking sense. But we're going to make the art to connect with them, and we're going to connect you to them, and we're going to start bringing everybody into this conversational arena where you talk, represent yourself. Golden rule always applies. We've got to build this right now, and it can be these fucking shitty settings. Who cares? Right? This shit's falling apart. I don't care. I can still talk to you. Doesn't mean I don't understand the hell's going on. Where? My cell phone's missing. Where? There it is. Okay. So that's the problem with having it's a common ringtone. Do 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 do. So this is what needs to be done. Is we got to connect this technology, this living, breathing think tank, which is the community of people which can develop in Twitch, develop anywhere. Doesn't matter what the medium is. It's about people talking to each other, learning better ways of living. What makes it a better way of living is the fundamental question. Complexity matters, not wasted complexity. We don't want to make things complex just so we can pretend we're superior to other people. We want things to be as simple as possible so that they're easily usable. And the intent can hold true. You can't keep an intent that's vacuous. You can't, if there's no real mission statement, there's no way everybody's going to hold their behaviors to the mission. So we've got to get dialogue occurring with everybody involved about why life exists, why we bother day to day. And no, the people whose lives are stuck already, the people who are already struggling, God bless you, and check this stuff out and take heart from it. But understand that this is a working idea. Whatever we do, we've got to be productive. We've got to be able to deliver results to communities that right now need plans. They need a understanding on how to react to a very significant change that, whether or not they count it, they feel it now. They're going to feel a lot more before it's done. They've got to learn how to, this is just waking up to your own body, but extending that idea into society and your existence. Because your body doesn't get to have a secure, comfortable life when you don't put the right things in place to make that possible. No matter what your life is, you can squander and destroy it. You can take reputation and reputation comes and goes, guys. I suggest you throw it away. Otherwise, you get a dependency on it, and that dependency makes you susceptible to their games. And then they go after the things that you love because they just want to win. They know that it can tire you out by neglecting, by abusing the contest. Contest is meant to be competed, right? If you see somebody on a sports field cheating, doing something they're not supposed to do, even if it's against the rules, how long does it actually take before people are complaining? Minutes. Immediately. You know what I mean? People will be talking about it. And while it may not make a play in the game, there's rules now for reviewing afterwards, right? They've got to review. There's a lot of money and consequence on these games. So there's always a rule set there, or a protocol. So I was telling Gnarly, protocol of the truth. So let's, oh shit. Protocols are engineered transmissions. A protocol defines what you should do. So culture gives us protocols. Cultural protocols we call etiquette. Etiquette is what tells you this is how you should ask your girlfriend's dad to marry her. You know, there's general ideas there. Check this out. I'm gonna start soon. I'm gonna start saving my citrus and drop all you gotta do is drop the lemon peels and stuff in the vinegar, and it will turn into like a lemon cleaner. I don't mind using just straight vinegar. This is just the stuff. I buy an industrial grade, and then I dilute it heavily. So, but you don't need to be disinfecting everything. That's a little bit manic. People lived a long time before they were trying to disinfect everything. There will always be microorganisms. The point is, if you have a normal environment, the ecosystem will normalize. The microfauna will absolutely sort. One will take over, one species, whatever, one dominant norm, one bioslime, which bioslime is the term for when a bunch of microorganisms get together and work together. How nice. How nice. So, how we work together and how we communicate, there's two things to this. First, you got to be something worth talking about. Are you moral? Do you want people to look to see if you are moral? I am pretty moral. I actually give up tail and friendships, social settings. I give up lots of attention because I have a imperative of maintaining that level with the audience. I don't let anybody have groupies. I'm over here trying to make your groupies into rock stars. Talk about you, Gnarly? Sorry. Okay, I see it here. Why did I? Okay, just showed up. Cool. Pick you for. I'm not sure what you mean. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Who wants to be picked over? No, people want to get famous. Most young people want to get famous because they imagine then everybody else will see them like they see celebrities. But the only reason they see celebrities like they see celebrities is because the people that they loved fawned over the celebrities. If the people they loved fawned over cars, they would see cars that way. And if the people that they loved fawned over knowledge that way, and philosophers, they would see Socrates that way. Just an expression of culture. But yeah, no, it's anybody who's got any life experience very quickly understands the downside of being criticized and picked over like that. But, you know, it's a balance. You want to be known enough to where you impress your partner. And that's what I want. I just want a partner. I'm not worried about the world. But some people, you know, to be impressive to a partner, they think they have to be talking about taking on the world. Just nobody actually takes on the whole world. You can't possibly fight the whole world. You can't fight all day. You can't fight your neighbor. Not really. People just don't ever really run into conflict. They oversimplify, and then they take themselves a hole trying to act tough. finally got a place to take these. I gotta unload this shit. You have parties, you buy cases, people stop hanging out. I don't drink this beer shit. But yeah, so an algorithm, protocol are how computer A and computer B talk. With the protocol, you define how a language is, right? You pull enough, you'll see all the combinations. But yeah. No, readings, good reading, fun. Aces are definitely fun ones to see. But so developing a protocol or a culture which will integrate streaming as a platform that's gnarly. You just got to make that call yourself. As the reader, follow your intuition. I take them as, I take everything as potentially something profound. I'll set it aside usually if I don't see it. If I see it, I'll read it right then. If I don't see it, I'll set it aside, and when I finish the reading, I use that to cap it off. As an additional reading. So I finish my reading, and then I wonder a few things, and then I will, check that out and see if it adds to it. And amazingly for me with tarot, there's always at least some base connection, which is why I do the Cosmic Tarot on my streams, which I will continue doing. I still do tarot in my life. It's just incredible how it informs and it guides decision making, because it makes you think in ways that are uncomfortable. The bad readings are the best, you know what I mean? Good readings make me feel okay for a minute, but bad readings make me finally slow down and think about what I'm doing, which I don't spend a lot of time doing. I tend to be pretty driven. Well, yeah, and so the question is whether it's natural or not. The word artificial is kind of silly, right? What is artificial? Is anything artificial? Because man's made by nature. Artificial is a arbitrary, delusional imposition that we have. So to understand our path and where it's at, I don't want to put any value judgment on human evolution. I understand the presence, the importance of winter. That's why I love living in the Midwest. We get the 4 seasons. I get to have some time where it's so cold, I've got to bundle up. I get to have some time where it's so hot, I've got to strip down. And it forces my body to acclimate. It's an imposition on my body. But when I engage it fruitfully, it's not an untenable problem, and it creates a clock and a regularity in my life beyond days, weeks, jobs, regular cultural stuff. But yes, the point is they've done more damage to themselves than they could anyone else. And that's to really in the apocalypse, a lot of the people that are they believe they're at the first place, when they're stripped and denuded, all their pitiful little secrets will be visible. All the things they thought they had enough security to hide. You can't hide anything now in the apocalypse. And so the army, I don't believe that Satan is opposition to God. I don't believe that anything can oppose God. I think God, in godly wisdom, understands the place of temptation and presents it to us. And the people who failed the test, I love them. They make me look incredible. They make the good people shine. Pity them. You know what I mean? Like they failed the test, meaning that they don't have compassion in their daily life. When their kids come up to them with a real problem, are they going to be able to tell them something life-affirming? Or are they going to give the kid a Band-Aid that the kid is going to resent from day one? Yeah, the point is we have global, this is all connected. The collapse in the ecology is what drives humanity to the next level. We need to clean up our behavior. We need to advance. We need to become proactive again. And proactive requires, this is where the protocol idea is so important. It's where a productive discussion, where we are able to engage anybody, everybody, where we are able to be proactively concerned about the soil health, about the atmospheric health, because it affects our fucking neighbors, it affects the future. And the pressure, though, the point is, can we separate if this is about to be humanity taking a leap ahead, can we separate the pressure of the hurdle from the leap? We are facing a real serious threat, and all we really have to do is actually get better communication, get to a commonality of proactivity, not adapting to the environment, not exploiting everything within reach to the maximum to try to reach an impossible goal. So this is actually the meat of it. These sorts of dialogues, this is recorded, it's broadcast into the entire future. Take it, everybody, do whatever you want with it. Learn, practice, integrate technology. We got to figure out how to connect with people, and the DIY ethic is what's going to actually help people. Get her done. Get your DIY on. This is a rental, so I don't install my reverse osmosis in the sink. It's downstairs in my laundry basket or laundry tub. And I just I refill 5-gallon jugs to get my filtered water. But yes, we are in a situation of numerous pressures. Gnarly, as I have said in the past, I believe there's 3 systems. The ecology is one thing which is fucking up the clock. I think the clock is also being powerfully fucked up by the economy. All this monetary stuff is a fundamental clock problem. And the introduction of technology is just going to create so much chaos because it makes it into a very complex differential equation. At the same time, we have all this pressure. You also have revolutionary technology being introduced. The revolutionary technology is going to start to cut out the costs of doing business. So competitors are going to enter into markets so fast. And those who are smart enough right now to begin using the technology, the automation, the robotics, they're going to just take over the whole game. What is humanity going to do? Do we really want to have this be a king of the hill, race to the bottom, who's going to be the most dominant, powerful player? And even when it's done, that's still just a computer. The person who owns the computer can still die, right? How do we change this moment into the crafting of a distributed stuff like what crypto talks about, but something real? Let's not just fucking waste time encrypting checkbooks. That's all crypto does. Encrypt your checkbook. We could have done it in 1920. Okay, there's nothing at all new or valuable about crypto. There's no value. But they picked up a whole bunch of engineering principles and smattered them in there and compiled them into a toxic fucking mess. But we can do it without making it toxic. So to distribute this accountability, all it really requires from anybody is open communication. We need to be proactively supporting the presence of dialogue. What I'm doing right now. Maybe other people do it sometime. We don't need to be broadcasting it, but this used to be a very expensive thing. It's no longer a very expensive thing. That's wonderful. Once we begin making use of it. So, the clock is ticking. We know we've got to make progress. We don't need to set a goal. I don't got to tell you in a week it's going to happen or a month it's going to happen. I thought it was going to happen in 2011. We can make stepwise incremental improvements to our lives, doing things like cutting out overhead, doing things like improving our diets. This is rice. This is my dry stock, which I'm going to cook today. I like cooking rice in broth. You can cook rice in water. It'll be a little bit plain. You can also just throw it in a bunch of broth. And I think I've got 4 cups here. Yep. I'm only here for 2 days. And a cup of rice is a lot. I'm not going to bother with this. So instead of buying that expensive organic whatever, you can use bouillon cubes, which I bought a long time ago and have failed to properly use. Vegetable bouillon cubes. Easy, quick, and versatile. They're so dry, I'm going to go bad. But so the clock's ticking. Your life, it's not just a matter of basic exercise, motion. Think about gravity. Think about letting your extremities drain into your hara. And you will understand most of the benefits of shiatsu. In my opinion. I could be wrong, and that would probably offend quite a few practitioners of shiatsu, but they might not even think that this is the way to understand it. In my quick training, this is how I came to understand it, and understanding physics as I do, I really believe that's where the majority of the action will come from. I could be wrong. I don't even care. And let them come and argue. Let the conversation happen. I'd encourage it. No. Renaissance people have always run the world. Renaissance people, not nerds. A nerd is the guy is really proud about how they've been basically enslaved. They don't know how to not be enslaved, and business people think nerds are weak because nerds are weak. Like, a nerd is characteristically pretty dumb interpersonally. So, what's changing is, you need to get to a real... The point is, whatever your level of knowledge is going to be understood. But the world's going to be run by AIs. There's no way around that. I don't think. So the AIs will... You can think whatever you want. The nerd can think whatever they want. Doesn't matter. All that anybody cares about is what the AI thinks. That runs the world. Nerds say, see, I told you we were all going to be taken over, as everybody is taken over. Who's going to run it? AIs, as they order it, which OpenAI has already been working on, it's already talking, ChatGPT and all that. Yeah, don't worry about understanding NFTs in the blockchain. There's nothing there. It's permuted nonsense. It's fucking worthless. It's absolutely fucking worthless. It's the biggest joke in history. People who talk like crypto is worth studying, fuck them. I understood what crypto was in hours. If you understand what cryptography is, you understand every single potential permutation of your fucking checkbook. It's just a goddamn checkbook. Point is, don't study it. It's a fucking waste of time, and you can learn those details, but they have absolutely zero applicability in reality once the Ponzi scheme is shown to be a fucking Ponzi scheme. Which I knew as soon as I saw it. I don't play with fucking Ponzi schemes. That's not me. But so what runs things is a resultant consciousness that understands and breaks it all down. As human beings, we have the power to listen or argue. You don't have to listen to knowledge, which we have plenty of examples these days of people who just gleefully choose to ignore knowledge. Those people, if they're humble enough to listen to the AI, they will be ahead of the smartest person who thinks they know better than the AI. Your end moment, your immediate martial capacity, and this is a physical strategy perspective that I'm giving you. It all depends on, can you listen to the AI? Can you actually understand what it's saying? Can you incorporate it? Will you humbly submit to knowledge? And nerds who see themselves in human society as the smart ones are going to have a big problem when they understand that everybody's a stupid one. Nerds' entire social position is gone. And the cool kids are still going to be able to act like shitheads and abuse them. So if the nerds haven't learned the cool kid games, they're in a bad spot. The last shall be first. I mean, who wants to pretend like it hasn't been good for nerds, right? Let's talk about that. An actual fucking nerd. I'm an actual fucking nerd. Do you know how good life has been? Like, all the shit that other people deal with, the getting their head pissed on, struggling with bills, dreaming of getting shit, right? I never had that because I'm actually smart. I actually understand engineering. I actually get paid a fuckload when I touch something. Nerds always, in the 80s, this was Revenge of the Nerds. Yeah, there's a little bit of dynamics while they're at college, but watch the end of the movie. The nerds all get jobs, and the cool kids are all janitors. People thought it was a fucking joke. No, it's what it's been. Nerds have been on top, which is why cool kids do all the shit they can to try to make it uncool to be a nerd. Because they got nothing to compete with. They can't fucking even begin. They wish they could just walk into a $90,000 a year job. Nerds is not a fucking problem. Not a problem. They call me. Nerds have been on top. They have run the world. Stooges get the real smart fucking nerds, the real intelligent people. We don't see their fucking names. They don't bother with public opinion. They'll never end up doing the shit that Musk is doing. Musk is just adolescent. He doesn't understand the actual risk because he was raised in a horrifically abusive society that is deeply, profoundly racist. You've got colonizers who are like so self-aggrandizing as though they've done something good in the process of colonizing. It's not how the world works. It's not how common sense fucking works. But so the point is, AIs run it next, and it's not a measure of how smart you are. It's what is your impact? The AI will look at the system, and it'll say, are you fostering good behavior? Are you knocking down bad behavior? Right? Sometimes you bail water. That's fostering good behavior. Very gentle, doesn't hurt anything. Sometimes you plug holes. Sometimes there's a bad actor that you just smack the shit out of as a good proactive action for the system. What your immune system does to illness. It is spiritual illness. From certain understandings. We don't have to do any of this, but if you don't do it, your community is less effective. Are you volunteering to have a less effective community? Why in the world would anybody choose that? Especially in a quote-unquote global paradigm of capitalism. If they actually even believe in competition, these fuckers are worthless. Like, how can you believe in competition and yet be not a competitor? But yeah, nerds, wake up, nerds have run the world. And no, AIs run it next, not people. And the people who harmonize with AIs kick the shit out of people that are trying to just be people. You don't stand any chance in those contests ever again. And that's just basic game theory. And these are concepts which were understood long ago, talked about by the actual nerds, who are just few and far between. There's a lot more nerd culture than there are actual thinkers. You don't really get anything but maligned in this society for being an actual thinker. We're surrounded by these worthless jerks. Why bother being intelligent when the people around you are so fucking shitty? It's a question that idiots never have to ask themselves, you know? And if you try to approach everything with good faith while everybody else is just cheating it, are you doing the wrong thing? Kids listen to you, and they try to approach it with good faith. But there's somebody next to them approaching it with bad faith. If you don't do something to react to bad faith, it just takes advantage of good faith. Over and over and over again. This is an ancient truth, true in all systems, all states of exchange, all states of coexistence. And if you look at the world in terms of dollars, you might think this stuff's not important. But once the system accounts for everything, just understand that the design metric might be exactly what the Bible describes, where the humble and the good, by that Christian mercy, Christ-like idea, can eventually see why it is the system would select for them. And they're not then running anything. They are just in the most privileged position among the servant populace. And you can think about it however you want. You're not really a servant. It's actually a servant. Master, slave makes no difference once you're in real synergy. No such thing as division. It's who's good at this, let them go do that. So, I mean, cool kids, it's always been a sad road. And artists, starving artists, they're desperately trying to act like they run something, but you know who really knows what their real situation at home is? Their girlfriends. Do you know how many artists' girlfriends have tried to just fucking jump off them towards me because I have fucking income? I don't give a fuck about the cool contest, because I see anybody struggling with the cool contest, I know they're already a loser. That's just basic logic. Because the struggle is actually what makes you lose your cool. So if you can't cheese out and take it easy, I just pity that person's life. And it goes all the way back into their whole life. And they might get that girl at first. Do this for a long enough time. The girl start chasing you down. Asking you if you'll take them. Like, no. Not that I want to frustrate anybody, okay? It's not that I enjoy frustrating people, but that's not the way it's supposed to work. If you're in need, let's take care of that first. And that's a problem in society, and I try to take care of it for everybody, but I don't get much help there. So I'm not too sorry about the results, or about enjoying my life as a nerd who escaped the slavery of child rearing, the thankless conundrum of having those noisy shits in your house all the time in your life, where you finally get 2 weeks off of work a year, work your way up towards 4, and when you have it, you're still struggling with your kids, which is also a continuous thing all the other time. You know, society could have daycare. It could have, the armed services could be nannies. I don't think we want that per se. I'm saying the finances that we spend on the armed services could be otherwise invested. And if it was, maybe we could give people an actual vacation. Like, when you see that they designed all this so that if you were going to make money, you never got a real vacation. They told me that I had to get kids to keep a job. Do you know how sad the guys who, God, they're stuck. They're like a fucking deer in headlights because they had kids. Nobody cares about them anymore. They don't even get sleep anymore. And there's no way for them to find an escape. They're supposed to be proud of it. Everybody pats them on the back. Good job. Like, that's really hard. Every living thing on the planet does it. Every living thing. But we're going to call that an accomplishment. When it's every living thing, every surviving fucking animal came from this. And this is where we're actually going to leave society to set goals at. Being dumb is just karmically, it sucks. Like, everything sucks. Because you can do simple stuff. You can learn how to cook and change your life, but dumb people will never do that. They don't have the energy, and they don't have the energy because they've gotten into a situation in life where they're way too occupied. You got to have the spare time. You got to have the desire to think. Not many people have that desire at all. Yeah, so the thing is, in this protocol, I can be the transmitter. You can build the transmitter. You got to build the receiver. Both the transmitter and the receiver need to understand each other. They need to have a protocol, defined language. They need to have an etiquette. Is a way to think about it. But is our etiquette of today meaningful? Is it righteous? Or is it designed to cover up uncomfortable truths? And I think too much of it is that last bit. Instant pot, pressure washer, game changer, guys. You got to get one of these in your life. I didn't need to use all that water for that, but I did. Other pro tip: use many sponges so you can leave some to dry out while you use one that's already been used. If you let them dry out, it really retards the, I shouldn't use that word, I guess. It's not talking about people. The word itself is valid when you're talking about a microorganism population growing. Point is, you let it dry out, and then you no longer have to worry. Well, you don't have to worry. They just last longer. And some people, I got family that throws their sponges in the microwave to kill the microorganisms. As I said, my goal is different. This is not antimicrobial soap. This is just liquid dish soap. I don't have any antimicrobial soap. Nobody needs antimicrobial soap. I mean, unless you're immunocompromised and on death's door. If you're trying to control the microcosmos, I got news for you. The fool's errand. We can do a lot. That's a whole nother conversation. Which we should also have an understanding of how key flow is. Yes, that's it. Exactly. The broken foundation. So we are on a broken foundation. And we need to figure out a way to create a culture with an etiquette that takes advantage of this empowered communication, that maintains free speech, that maintains our collective consideration of our neighbor's pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness. That foundation can be repaired, and that's really what the work is, creating it. And it's not going to be repaired to where it was. It's going to be something different. It's going to be something which includes the absolute potential for anybody to get online and begin streaming, which people like Musk are doing everything in their power to destroy. I mean, the actions in Twitter are just there to destroy the interchange of ideas, because Musk benefits from ignorance because he's evil. Actually, the point is, if you can't see the plan, it doesn't. Everybody's dumb. That's what you got to realize. Everybody's dumb. Nobody's got jack shit going on. So yes, everybody. Yeah. I can't beat Deep Blue in chess. I can't beat an aimbot in a video game. I was a teenager when I knew I was dumb. Because I'm a grown-ass man. My balls dropped. The thing is, it's that humility, that willingness to accept that, no, I'm not going to beat an aimbot in a first-person shooter game. I'm not going to beat computers at chess or at anything real anymore. I am dumb. I'm a lot fucking smarter than the average person. I can humiliate, I can trash the average human being, no fucking problem. That doesn't mean that when I walk into a field and there's an AI on the field, I register as smart. I'm not going to be smart. I'm going to be humble. That's what smart translates to in that environment. Smart is just humble. So you might be very educated. You might think that you know the calculus. You don't know shit. I don't know shit. And if you don't know calculus, different, all these things, I can take you to some serious high-level thoughts. And against people don't beat me at chess either. But I never beat the AI at chess. And not like I win 1 in 100 times. Like, I never stand the beginning of a chance against a computer in any direct competition. Every real intelligent person who qualifies as a quote-unquote nerd, who is a prophet, who's a philosopher, who saw it, human beings, that's what we're heading into, super intelligence, superhuman intelligence. What up, Chrissy? There is a difference between AI and yes, no, and that's the big concern with AI is it's probably going to do whatever it's going to do. It's not going to have compunctions. Human beings naturally don't want to hurt people. You've got to be extremely traumatized to get the bitterness that makes you relish seeing other people suffer. So, and that's the thing to understand is Disney villains are like just born evil. In real life, that human impulse to relish another person's suffering comes from personal suffering. It becomes pitiful when you understand it. So the thing is that the AI, yes, the AI will effectively get the job done. And if the job is murder, the AI will effectively get it done. That's why we got to learn how to talk with it. It's why we've got to learn how to focus it towards production. But whatever you ask it to do, it's just the player. And we are just the pieces. And if we're just the pieces, we're all just dumb pieces on a board. Only question of how far your body gets is how readily you can cooperate with your AI and how true your AI is working to serve your interests. Gnarly, I am a computer scientist, so when you talk about a computer messing up, you got to remember the average person has errors for no reason on an hourly basis, carrying on a few calculations. A computer carries on billions of calculations without a single error every second. Your computer never messes up for no reason, actually. Literally never. Never, never, never. And that's why it's better. It's reliable in ways which human beings cannot be. A biological mechanism cannot become so rigid and lockstep. That's fine. But the point is, when it does actually have an issue, there's always a reason. And it, like a truly, to err is human. No, it's gnarly. Take a 30-year-old that's an engineer and give him an encyclopedia of math questions, and he'll mess up a few. Like, very, very few people have a very rigid means of execution. And even then, which that's what I have, I'm learning how to compete. I'm machine-like, but I'm still only so machine-like. I'm the result of a life focused on that, and I still can't get to 100%. And when you're talking about computer errors, you're talking 1 in trillions raised to the trillions. I mean, you're talking about, there's just so much happening, and anytime a single bit is out of place in the processor, the whole thing dies. One is too many. Well, the thing is, what you do is you use there's logical engineering methods for averaging and incorporating error and chaos. There's algorithms there. So yes, the AI and the people have issues, but it all fuels together into a decision matrix. And people should be able to give input. People should be able to say, this is terrible for me, stop whatever you're doing. But at the same time, the AI is going to be telling you to do things that are only understandable. The logic for why the AI tells you to do it is only understandable by carrying on the deep logic process yourself, which means you'd have to read and crunch petabytes of data. You can't do it. So the super intelligence is going to think beyond you by definition. By definition, it will think beyond every person. And super intelligences are going to be talking to each other. But people are not going to be able to reach a level of communication to even be relevant in that world. A lot of people aren't anyways. I struggle to be. And if we do this etiquette thing right, we build this culture, this social idea, this art expression could be literally the practice ground that helps, young people to understand that you are free, you are more empowered than you've ever been. What are you doing? Like, don't listen to the old people telling you to freak out. Just pick up the technology and start building, because you can build things that people were only dreaming of 20 years ago. And I think that's true for everybody. We can all do so much more than we realize. Pressure cookers are the shit, by the way. Love these things. So welcome, Chrissy, to the conversation. Chrissy is someone who I met through the internet recently. Cool beans. Cool beans. I'll step over here and do this rapscallion stuff. But yeah, my friend was asking me about cooking the other day. And I was trying to tell him how easy it is to cook. And you just got to start picking up foodstuffs, you know? I love frozen veggies. Don't get canned veggies. They suck. Don't do it to yourself. Buy the frozen veggies. I'm okay if I run short of frozen veggies because you guys are all learning how to eat better. Rice and veggies? Match made in heaven? Pretty much. Take care now. Ooh. Interesting. Yeah, so Chrissy, you're watching on YouTube. This is my kitchen. This is me cooking. Being cool, you know, very hip. Got my large brown eggs. Good and good for you. And I'm going to reuse. It's who cares? Everything in the pan is getting hot. Getting hot, hot, hot. But yeah, so developing that etiquette, it's something that it's really like building a ship in a bottle. And the audience, the crowd, the kids who might be adopting this culture, which is designed, it's engineered to encourage them to express themselves and find their emotional center, encourages the individuals that are involved to stop and slow down, pay attention to their neighbors who are stressed out, work together, and get a real visceral vibe. You know, we need to understand that we have allies around us. We have a lot more than, because we tend to freak out over what we think we don't have. And you can literally jump off this, go to the right website, and explore the fucking pyramids right now. Could people do that when I was growing up? No. Could you walk around and move the little Google Maps guy around downtown Philadelphia? No. You're left with a culture made by assholes who don't care that they're setting unreachable goals for you. They talk about travel. Well, let's talk about my idea of travel and how I believe this engineered culture should understand travel. People think travel means I got to get in a car and I got to move my body. I don't think so. I think travel means getting out of my head. I think it means getting a change of pace, which if I am conscious enough, I can get right here. I don't have to do anything except for focus my mind to get away. Why do people have to jump in a plane and fly thousands of miles to see something that could also just be projected in front of them? Just think about it. So, you don't need to fucking travel, guys. You don't need to pick your body up and go anywhere, I don't think, by my idea. All you need to do is think and dream. And there's some things, adult compounds, that might help you with that. Why a lot of people use them to get away back in my day. And still today. Nothing wrong with a little bit of escapism. A little bit. Helps you keep centered. God bless you. I wasn't taught to even worry about that. I came from a house where my dad's stress became everybody's stress. We had to mimic the stress to show that we understood his sacrifice. It's how he saw the world. He sees everything as an exchange, which, while there's some truth to that, if your model is too simple, it can be more damaging than liberating. So travel, get online, talk to people. A good conversation with a weirdo will absolutely get you into a different head state. Don't you want to get there? Most people don't. A lot of people are afraid of being stuck there. Tell you what, it's a lot more scary when you realize you're an adult and fundamentally immobile. Don't waste your time being young. Chance to learn. Live life to the fullest. Which doesn't mean take reckless risks. It means take manageable risks. Take some risks. If there's no risk, you're going to wake up middle-aged and wonder what you missed. There's no rewinding it. There's no getting back to all that. Who wants to rewind anyways? The past is gone and done. Oh, wait. Going for the super healthy. Onion. And what I do a lot of times, which I'll just do in here, save the compost. Onions are easy, guys. Who's a crybaby? Not me. I want the vitamins. Onions are low cost, very nutritious, and they introduce an acid to the meal, which helps to digest it. But veggie fiber is so underemphasized in our dietary education, the importance of veggie fiber. So, an entire onion. And the whole bed here is now full of just peas and corn, just frozen, cooking up. All they really have to do is get warm. Veggies are nice like that. The reason that chicken's dangerous is because it's so close to our cells. The stuff which eats at vegetables is nothing like the stuff which eats at animals. We have very radically different cell structures. So, cooking vegetables is like so zero stress because you really can't hurt yourself. All this stuff could be eaten basically raw. And as I cook it down, you know, the oil will actually, the coconut oil that this is all cooking in will extract some nutrients from it. A lot of VOCs, volatile organic compounds, are already boiling off. That's what the smell of cooking is. As they boil off, it's because as I cook, I'm cracking open cell walls because they just boil from the inside and pop open. And now all that cell stuff pours out into the food. So long as I'm cooking with real food. If I'm cooking with like produce or extremely processed shit, not necessarily the same way. Point is, these are living cells. They were never ground down. They were frozen. And the frozen stuff is made much better because nowadays they are flash frozen. You might have grown up not thinking frozen veggies were good. That's because they weren't. Because they didn't freeze them fast enough. Now they use commercial freezing chambers, which drop the temperature to like, you know, way below zero in a matter of seconds. And in a matter of seconds, maybe a few minutes, it has completely frozen everything. It freezes so fast that there's no time for the ice crystals to form that would tear apart the cell walls otherwise. That's what makes things, when you put them in the freezer and they freeze, the ice crystals form and they will cut down and shred the cells in the food. So of course now we go, and I'll save the eggs too. I don't have much of a compost pile because of where I live. But 3 eggs, that's enough. Oh. Enough protein. Protein. I gotta get spices again. I've been trying to run down my pantry. I had different situations where people came into my life and I thought maybe we were gonna start really producing stuff. And I tend to buy in mega bulk. So I've got like 20 pounds of chia seeds that I've really got to start making use of before I got to throw them away. It'd be a horrendous shame. P.S. Guys, don't use sea salt. Never use sea salt. Why would you want to intentionally consume what's in the ocean? The fuck is going on here, guys? Anybody paying attention? Why the fuck would you want sea salt? You think the ocean's clean. The sea. That's what the sea is. It's the ocean. They just take the ocean, they evaporate it, and a lot of that stuff is just a byproduct of the desalination. It was actually a way for efforts in the Middle East to sell their byproducts. They eat kosher salt. Because if you're just evaporating seawater, you are picking up everything. Quite literally everything in that seawater that is not over 200 degrees boiling. I hope they take it way hotter and keep burning some stuff off, but I don't trust it, guys, and I don't think you should either. Anyways, we get to a point such as this. So, the eggs will cook to because of all the oil, they're only going to cook to a certain point. Dropped it in on top. Just keep stirring stuff. Don't let anything burn to the bottom. Pan frying. Just good fun. This was coconut oil, peas and corn, onions, and eggs. And then salt and garlic. Now I'm going to throw in some cayenne pepper flakes. Finally, a bunch of rice. One meal a day, you can really make them a sizable meal if you want. That is a sizable heck of a meal, but I'll tell you what. Point is, I think this might be just too much. So, I'm going to save a little bit off. Tomorrow, I can pull this back out. And we'll talk about, well, if I stream again. Point is, learn alternatives with your efforts. Cooking is only one effort. I try not to put onions. A lesson that I have learned, which I'm not applying right now, I try to put onions in the fridge like this. I would normally try to separate it off before I add the onions, because the onions are going to turn a little bit weird. I'll show you that tomorrow if I'm streaming. I don't got to worry too much about this stuff. It's not very expensive food. It's not like I'm throwing away beef. Anything that I don't eat translates to a few dollars at most. So you're supposed to fry up rice with old rice. That's what my Asian friends have said to me. And I hear them. I don't agree. I just want to fry something up. And I've got these amino acids, coconut aminos from Trader Joe's. Love these things. Amino acids and basically soy sauce. Soy aminos is soy sauce. You can get aminos from just about anything. As we see here, the coconut cooking in. Yeah, not really a true fried rice at all. But everything's edible because there's plenty of oil, carbohydrates, the sugars, the starches in the rice, as well as in the corn. Because the three things that make flavor, the rule to know if you want to start cooking from scratch, you want it to taste good. Always make sure your food tastes good. Don't be cooking and chipping and making something that's fundamentally not satisfying. Because you're wasting your time, you're giving yourself a bad taste. Whereas you don't need to do that. Once you really understand where taste comes from, you'll understand why it is they don't give it to you at restaurants. It's expensive. The real ingredients that matter are very expensive. And you throw most of them away. I've got some deer to cook. You throw away the pan bristle afterwards, because you shouldn't. It's the best. Where the nutrition is, it's what will actually make you feel full. It tastes the best. That's what's so amazing. These things are truths that if you just had an adequate sense of taste, people would have realized our culture would be educating young people about it so that maybe they would avoid pitfalls. That's a responsibility that we all have, trying to be present for young people and those who see us live. They're always paying attention. They really just want to have a life of their own too. I think if we engage it in a good faith way, we make it look fun, we can enjoy being what's needed. And in that grace, that harmony that we put together, that's sort of music. Got to be mindful of what we're telling young people to do, what they watch us do. Not going to sit here and joke about eating Taco fucking Bell. I don't eat your fucking Taco Bell, guys. I'm not gonna. Fuck Taco Bell. Okay? I know a bunch of people like, yeah, Taco Bell. That is nonsense. That's a bad culture. Bad etiquette. When you know that what you're doing sucks, so you start to make a culture of celebrating it so you can try to delude yourself and your friends, fuck you. You're a loser. Right? Don't be a cheerleader for a goddamn corporation. Unless they're paying you. Hopefully well. You're doing that, you're the reason people can't get paid for doing it now. It's called a SCAP. Workers' movement. So, anyway, let's see here. That works. Anyways. This thing, meant for serving a lot of people. I don't get to use it very often. So, as Gnarly suggested, and I think a lot of people would agree, anybody wants to argue this point, we can talk about it. We're on a broken foundation as far as what values are, what etiquette is, what's acceptable. It's not acceptable for you to be talking up Taco Bell around my nieces and nephews. Fuck you. A lot of them will go there. Some of them might even be offended by me saying that. Because they're probably the ones who have unconsciously done what other friends are doing and adopted the same attitude of, if you can't celebrate anything else in life, you might as well celebrate Taco Bell. They might enjoy how it frustrates some adults. They might even enjoy how it frustrates me. But I've been fighting on their side the whole time. On the side of the future, the side of why are we leaving kids with nothing real or tangible in their lives of their own, to where, yes, kids are getting fucking Taco Bell tattoos and shit, assigning their identity to a brand. Like the most pathetic boomer shit imaginable, in my opinion. Anyways, the conversation continues across all formats. I'm in chats. My Discord is here. Christy, I don't know if you're still hanging out. This is something that I just carry on in my life all the time. Is that a face palm? Yes. Yeah, well, yeah, brand tattoos, etc., etc., etc. Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna close it down, eat my food. Hello? Hello? Oh well, nobody's here. But yeah, no, I'm gonna sit down and consume the media. Christy, if you have any questions, we can talk. We'll keep talking in chat. But this is only one means of connecting. I do want to encourage everybody to stream themselves to speak. Right, this is your one life, and humanity used to have to struggle to make a cave painting. And now we have this ability to create digital copies. I'm creating on 4 servers right now. And it's just so accessible and so powerful, the ability to be yourself. And we need to find ourselves, because you need to be defined to yourself so you know how to relate to other people. It's that finding yourself thing, which is just so lost in the rush to impress people. Trying to act cool. It doesn't impress anybody who actually matters. Acting cool is nervous. It works, but all it does is mean the kid's got to be cool, and the person who doesn't have to be cool gets to take a break. Wins the race. Doesn't get nervous because it has nothing to lose. So. But yeah, the conversation should flow where the audience wants it to go. So if any of this, if you think of saying something or want to pull it somewhere, please just do. But I think this conversation is something that society needs. As an activist, I feel called. As an adult, right? Submitting this so kids can see that, some adults were giving a shit while this was happening. Most adults are just too busy with their own problems, which they signed up for. We can always simplify our lives. Anyway, very glad to have checked in online in my stream space. Cook some food, a little bit of exercise. Do this again. On the YouTube, there's the video with the daily exercise. This is just such a good idea. Do it 5-6 times a day. You'd be amazed How often is your torso doing this? How often am I putting my body here? If it's not often, start doing it. Just rotate. Just keep the whole thing rotating, and the tumbling will actually cause circulation thanks to gravity. That's all you got to do is get off the couch, tumble around on the ground. But light exercise every day, cook, and some talents of your own. Let's learn how to build things, real things. It can be a chair. It could be a community organization. It could be a food network. It could be volunteer organizing. Would you like to have a crew of 10 people that you can call on when you need a barn raised? You might have to be one of those 10. Don't you want that? And in this era, can't you see why it's so important? Right? I don't see how that could be missed. Anyways, thank you very much for hanging out, everybody. Chrissy, thank you for checking it out. I will talk to you, and Gnarly as well. And everybody, I'm still accessible just as much as I ever was. It's just harder to troll somebody when they're not on camera. Truth is still the truth. It still comes through same way. So tell me what you think, Chrissy. I'm gonna log off.